on that predetermination.
Right.
And then they're going to cover 50% of your major services and if you need to have orthodontics. I also want to point out, earlier Bryce said something about under the age of 26. There are insurance policies, dental policies that is, that covers adult orthodontia.
True.
But you definitely want to look at that. Just because your policy says orthodontia, that doesn't always mean orthodontia for everyone, correct?
Correct. And it'll typically say orthodontia to age 19.
To age, okay.
26 or adult orthodontia, whatever it may be. But the general rule of thumb, vast majority of plans will cover just dependent children to age 26.
Gotcha.
Oh, I've got a good question.
Okay.
So, thank you. Whenever we bring up orthodontia, and of course, me being older than both of you, you think of the wire frames and wires and all that stuff. Now they have these Invisalign things that are so amazing. They are just like plastic things that you put on your face and in your teeth and not on your face.
I think if there's any dentist out there, they're cringing at Darla's description of Invisalign. Sorry about that.
Okay, so moving forward, what about Invisalign, Bryce? Is that considered orthodontia?
So yes, it's going to vary contract to contract. Some carriers will cover it as standard braces. I actually have Invisalign currently, and it was covered under my orthodontia plan.
He doesn't even have big plastic on his face.
I'm not wearing them right now.
Oh, okay.
They give me a list, so I try to avoid them when I'm in meetings.
Those are great Invisalign because I did not see them. So.
Yeah, no, I left them at home.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's becoming more and more common just because the standard braces can be pretty invasive. Obviously, you can see them.
Yes.
And the older you get, there's a little bit more of a stigma tied to those. So if you can get the Invisalign and it's covered by yours, the vast majority of people are going to do so likely.
Well, I would say the vast majority. However, my 13-year-old just recently got braces, and under our plan, we were given the opportunity to do traditional wire and bracket braces or Invisalign, and it really wasn't that much more expensive to do Invisalign. However, my mom thought process is, I hope my son never listens to this podcast when he gets older, but he can't remember his backpack to go to school, much less to wear his braces. So in our consultation with his orthodontist, I said, just mom to mom, like, what's your opinion? And she was like, I would really encourage, younger individuals to go ahead and have the wire braces. She said, typically, and this is just some person's, one dentist's opinion, but she said, most of the time we see if younger individuals get Invisalign, they typically have to wear their Invisalign double the time or almost double the time that it would have taken to correct the problem with regular wire braces. So
yeah, I mean, there's a responsibility associated with the Invisalign where you're taking them out, putting them back in, especially if you're going to school. I mean, mine gives me a slight lisp, so I don't wear them during work. So at nighttime,
glad I'm not your mom paying for your braces.
I paid for my own braces. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's like, I don't want to deal with that. Right. I sleep in it, and that doubles the timeline.
There you go.
Whereas for kids, I mean, what percentage of kids probably get braces, like standard braces, right?
It's a rite of passage, right?
Totally.
Everyone has to have wire braces in order to proceed into junior high.
And you're depriving them of that satisfaction of getting them off one day. And next thing you know, you have a clean mouth,
True.
Bryce, thank you so much for answering all of our questions as they relate to dental care. We hope that we enlightened your idea about dentists. And Darla has one last word.
One last question. So what's the tooth fairy getting right now? Has that gone up from 25 to 50 or?
Ooh, great question.
Yeah, the tooth fairy doubles inflation. So she's getting a 25% bump on these right now. I mean, she's got to make her margin. She's busy. So I think... for your kids, you should probably just slip them $20 at this point.
Every parent out there just cussed
rolled their eyes
at Bryce.
Yep,
yes.
100%.
Thank you guys for listening. Disclaimer. Subjects that we discuss on the podcast are meant to be used as topics of conversation. All figures given are sheer examples. All information is subject to change and probably has changed since the airing of this podcast. Rates and figures change depending upon the demographic in which you live. Anything discussed in this podcast is our opinion. We do not represent Medicare, any governmental agencies, or any of the carrier partners on the show. Each person should do their own research on the various websites to ensure accuracy.